Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're liking all my Nintendo Switch 2 videos so far. I have so many more coming for you down the pipeline, but today's video, we're going to be unboxing the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we have the Nintendo Switch 2 controller. Let's go ahead and open it up here, and let's pull this out. And here we have the USB to USB-A wire within the Ziploc, the first Ziploc here, first and only Ziploc at that. And then you can see here is going to be the USB-C, here's the USB-A, and then underneath that, let's see if there's anything else in the box aside from the controller itself. There's nothing else inside of the box. So let's go ahead and pull this foam off, and let's go ahead and pull this out. So first and foremost, I want to say that this looks and feels really, really good. I've never had any type of Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch or any type of console at that. And so this feels really good. I'm actually really shocked about how the joysticks feel. They feel like they have a little bit of resistance, but they're also very smooth. And then the thumbsticks, they're very, very grippable. They have a little bit of like a bald indentation spot in there for kind of that gripability. But then on the kind of outer side of the thumbsticks, there's a little bit of ridges. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick it up, but the ridges feel really good and actually gives like that kind of gripability section to it. Yeah, I like it a lot. Again, this is my very first Pro controller, and so this is probably one of the best Pro controllers to have been introduced to the ecosystem. In terms of buttons, the D-pad here feels really good. Again, it feels like a D-pad. The clickiness, the tactileness of it feels really good. Whenever you press up, down, left, right, it feels like there isn't any kind of mesh or mixture of having maybe an accidental down or kind of like a diagonal push. Everything about the D-pad feels like it's going to be tactical. On the middle section here, we have the minus and plus sign here. We then have this button right here. I'm not quite sure what this button does, honestly. If you know what this button does on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, please let me know in the comments below, because like I said, I am brand new to this and I don't know if is this for like an amiibo or something? I don't know. But to the right of that, we then have the home button, again, very properly placed. We then have the chat button that Nintendo is pushing really, really hard for their new kind of device here. And I'm not quite sure what kind of options this is going to bring up whenever we're playing games or what have you, but it is strategically placed in the middle so that way either thumb can reach it. And again, the thumbsticks feel really, really good. Something that I'm impressed with without actually having used this controller is going to be the fact that the X, Y, and B and A buttons, they are large. They feel really good. Whenever you press on them, they all feel equally distanced, and then just the spacing of them and the kind of button real estate, it feels really good. It kind of opposite to the original Nintendo Switch buttons. I know this isn't the Pro controller, but I mean, look at the size of the buttons for the actual Pro controller versus the original Switch buttons. And so here is the Joy-Con for the XYBA buttons. You can see here that even on the Pro controller versus the Joy-Con 2, you can see the XYBA buttons. The Joy-Con XYBA buttons are relatively and significantly smaller compared to the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. Here's again another comparison. The ergonomics of the Pro controller feel amazing. I mean, it just feels really good. Kind of feels like you're holding a little bit of an Xbox controller and a little bit of like a Joy-Con. So it does have like a little bit of chunkiness, but it's not like overly chunky. And then it's also very kind of just like sleek. I don't know how to describe it. You had to kind of put your hands on this yourself. Continuing to the bottom of the Pro controller, we then have a 3.5mm headphone jack. And then at the top portion of the Pro controller, you have this accent white color, which is just super, super sophisticated. You have your bumper buttons. They feel really good, nice, and a lot of kind of distance for that kind of click there, and that click does feel really good. And then same thing for the right bumper and trigger button. Continuing to the buttonology on the top, we then have a pairing button, the USB-C port, and then an LED battery indicator. And then on the back side, we then have some paddle buttons. We have a GR button on the right-hand side of the Pro controller, and then a GL button on the left-hand side of the Pro controller. So for those of you who are super, super professional Nintendo Switch 2 players, these fit perfectly. The way that the GL and GR button fit in the back of the Pro controller, your middle fingers are going to kind of just land on the actual paddle button. It feels really good. So just as you hold it like this, and let's say you switch it over, you can see that my middle finger is literally resting on the kind of paddle button there. So you can see it just feels really good. And there's not a lot of like pressure that you're going to have to press onto these back paddle buttons in order to activate that. So I'm not sure if there's a setting in the future where you want to edit or adjust, so maybe you're not accidentally pressing that paddle button. But ultimately, I really do love the placement of these paddle buttons. And then I really just love the feel of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. Okay, so overall, I've never really purchased a Pro controller. I've always felt like it was just kind of a gimmick. I'd never had a Pro Xbox controller or a Nintendo Switch controller. I always just kind of used a controller that comes with the actual console, and in this sense the controllers would have been the Joy-Cons, right? But I did go off on a limb and decide to get the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, and boy oh boy would I have to say that this thing feels really, really good. I'm not a big fan of the Xbox controller just because I feel like it's a little bit too chunky, but I do like the PS5 controller, their DualSense, and honestly, between the PS5 controller and the Pro controller for this, I like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller a lot more. Now, I don't know if the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers or even the Joy-Cons, I don't know if they have any haptic feedback like the PS5's DualSense haptic feedback. I'm hoping Nintendo, unless I've been living under a rock and I haven't been paying enough attention, Nintendo hasn't really advertised anything along the lines of haptic feedback or kind of like immersive vibrations and things like that. I have heard from other YouTubers on the interwebs that the vibration from the Pro controller as well as the Joy-Con is much improved versus the original Joy-Con, but ultimately I'm gonna have to play some Breath of the Wild, some Mario Kart, so that way I'm able to tell you how does the actual Pro controller and Joy-Con feel when you're actually playing games. Those topics are going to be for a separate video, probably a 1 week later or maybe a 1 month later video, because honestly, this is not a cheap controller. I think it came in at like 80 something bucks, and which is kind of ridiculous. But if I'm able to kind of prolong the life of my new Joy-Cons, hopefully there isn't any stick drift issues with the new Joy-Cons, but the ergonomics of the Pro controller, I like it. I feel like I'd be able to smash a lot of things up in Tears of the Kingdom. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to like and subscribe because I have so many more videos coming down for you to watch. I'll see you in the next one.